Oh, you're ready. Welcome back,
Welcome
Torin.
back, everybody.
How's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you. How was your trip?
Cheers, cheers. Trip was great. Back in California, and feel like I was gone for 2 weeks, even though I was gone for only one or a little over one. So it was a good
Yeah,
vacation.
that's
Missed
good.
it.
That means you got away. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we had bad service, so it was like I had service in a
perfect.
couple spots, um, but for majority of the trip, it was like very low quality service. So not a lot of soccer, zero soccer watched, like
A
zero,
lot
like
to catch up on.
off social media the entire time as well. So you are going to be leading this one because I have watched highlights from
Okay.
last weekend's matches, and then I watched highlights of Champions League today. First day
Okay.
we're recording this, the first day of Champions League is started, and then
Yeah.
uh, second day is tomorrow.
Yeah. So
So
right in the middle of it.
yeah, so we'll go through all those matches right now. Before we do, why don't you get us the warm up for the drinks from last week?
Yeah. So we missed this last episode because it was before a weekend, and then we missed a weekend of Premier League because of the international break. But this was our first weekend back after the international break, so we had Pickems and fantasy back. Crazy week for us in both of these. I don't know. You probably haven't looked, but
I
Pickems,
sorry, go ahead.
you ended up in second place with 14 and a half points. I was right behind you at 14 in
Oh,
third. I
okay.
lost by .5 of a point
Dang.
in Pickups. So I'll take the first drink of the day.
14 still a strong score.
But yeah, both of us. So, I'm not disappointed with that. Fantasy, same situation here. I don't
I
know if you
I
looked,
saw
but
fantasy.
you did.
You beat me by
So
one.
I take home first place with 60, Austin in second with 59, and third was like 15 behind you. So
Yeah,
we were just far and above the best this week, which
I know.
is a rare occurrence for us.
We gained ground on Tony. We gotta catch him. We gotta catch him.
Yes, yes.
We're in striking
So
distance.
yeah, but a drink for you, just like I was just out on Pick'ems. Prop bets, we completely blanked last time. We got so enthralled with the bets we were placing
We didn't take
that we
picks.
never actually made prop bets.
All right.
So that's a drink for both of us.
I thought we did. I thought I picked Brighton, but maybe that was just my pickups.
If we did, we didn't put it down on paper. So
That sounds
yeah,
right. That
so
sounds right.
yeah, sounds about right. And then the last section, right, is our red card check-in. So over the weekend, we had 2 red cards. Both come in injury time at the end of games. The first one, we had Burnley. Foster got one at the 94th minute, elbow to the chest. I think it's like one of those letter of the law red cards, but not the harshest thing that anybody's done before.
No.
And then McBurney in the 90th plus 14th minute of injury time gets a second yellow red card. 14 minutes after the game goes into injury time, manages to get a red card. So that was a pretty funny one, I thought. But two red cards to drink.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, has there been a red card every week?
No, we had that week where I think there was 5. And then I think we had a week where there was 3 or something. It was like 3 and 5. And then we had a week with none right after that. I remember this because there was a red card in the Milan game, and you swore
Oh,
there was a red card in the
yeah.
Premier League.
That's why
And I
I'm
was like,
still
I don't
thinking
think
there was
so.
one every week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I just feel like there's been so many cards. I feel like there's more cards than ever.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. To me, it's almost like, I mean, this is a whole different conversation we could probably do as our own topic sometime, but if cards are going to be flying this easy, I think it just screams that there needs to be an orange card. There's got to be another level here of like in worse than a yellow, but not a red. Like
Yeah, I
something.
just think there needs
It's
to
just
be
too many
more.
cards.
There needs to be more fouls that aren't yellows.
Exactly.
I bet you there's less just regular fouls than there are yellow cards.
I mean, that would be pretty nuts, but
I bet you it's
I'm sure
pretty
the ratio
close.
has shrunk. I'm sure the gap has shrunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it at least this year.
But yeah, that's a whole conversation onto itself. Any more drinks before we get started? I think I got a nice base going.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Get us back in our groove.
Well, let's go. Champions League
Yeah, let's get
started
into it.
today. I was busy working, catching up on all my emails, which I still haven't gone through, so I wasn't able to watch anything live, sadly. But I did watch the PSG Dortmund highlights. It was the first one I clicked on.
Okay.
First reaction is it was kind of nice to see PSG with the players that they have and
Yeah.
not their normal team that I'm used to. It was a nice, like, refreshing change up for them to have. I don't like Dembele, but to have Vitinha out there, to have Moani up top. They brought in Ramos off the bench. I was like, dude, this is a more enjoyable PSG for me. But they end up winning the match.
A little bit. Yeah, great. I mean, great game for them. But yeah, no, they've become a little bit more likable. Maybe not likable yet, but more likable.
A little bit.
than they have been in the past.
I love Mbappe, though. Like, I don't like PSG, but I love Mbappe. I don't know how you dislike Mbappe.
I think he's just a little. I mean, you gotta respect him. He's just he's incredible, right? But there's times I think it gets to his head a little bit, right? That
yeah,
you can't even blame him for that, right? Just the way he is. But yeah, I mean, I think when he's on and he's in, like, I'm a teammate mode, he's awesome to watch, right? When he's willing to pass, right, and he's willing to celebrate his other teammates getting it, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And they really look like that today. They look like a unit today, and they beat a pretty damn good Dortmund side, and they beat them 2-0. So it's got to be demoralizing for Dortmund, because it didn't feel like they played that bad. I mean, they created some chances. They hit the post, I think, once or twice. You know, they were kind of in this game, and then to lose in the way they did, it's just like, it's got to be demoralizing.
Yeah, it's early days in the Champions League, and this is probably their toughest competition. Actually, no, that's the group of death, huh?
The group of death.
Oh, yeah, that hurts twice as much for. Dang.
It really hurts.
Any loss is devastating in that group. Forgot about that. Yeah. That's tough, because they were, like you said, it looked like they were in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think PSG, like, coming out of this match, PSG is still a good team. They're still, in my mind, favored to advance. But I don't see this PSG roster making it far in the competition after that. Do you?
I don't either. I agree. I still think they should be the favorite. You know, practically just from the star power of Mbappe alone, I would expect that, and at least on the betting side, right? But also from sort of the team side, you know, they're probably the favorite. But yeah, I agree with you. There's really good teams out there that they could end up matching up with later on that I think they could struggle with.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think this is, with the questions we had for them coming into this, for them to perform the way they did today against a very good team, it's as good of a start as we could have expected them to have. Like, I mean, they've immediately gone up a couple notches in terms of potential just from seeing this game alone, I think. So
no doubt. Yeah, huge 3 points. Absolutely,
huge 3 points.
Absolutely essential in that
group of death.
Yeah,
and I think, and you could see it on the Dortmund players' faces after they, you know, there's no room to slip in this group, man. So they got it all in front of them now.
And it sounded like my boy Julian Brandt struggled when they came off on the highlights. The announcer said it was a tough game for him, which is a bummer. Because when he's right and he's in the game, he's a force. So
no, I think you're right.
I think they'll need him to step up.
I did want to take a brief pause tangent while we were on this game. Our favorite announcer of all time.
I know.
This game. I'm sure you heard him on the
the legend Ray Hudson himself.
Yeah. So I wrote down some of the favorites I heard this game. I just wanted to share with you. I think this is our little tradition here. I don't know if you wrote down any.
I didn't. I mean, I remember one specifically, but when I heard he was on the telecast, I was like, it made me twice as upset that I wasn't able to watch this live. I was like, no, I don't get to hear the whole game of Ray Hudson. Damn. So, yeah.
But
hit me
yeah,
with
so
them.
I hit a few for you. Yeah, I'll hit you with what I heard. So early on in the game, I heard he was quicker than the blink of a bee's eye, which was a new one I hadn't heard before.
I didn't know. I didn't know bees blinked.
I don't think they do. But it sounds right.
Yeah.
Here's another one. So I think somebody like juked somebody, and he's like, he sent his shadow the wrong way.
Yeah, that was a good one. That one was a good one.
And then he was like, that was a fantastic rainbow pass, but no pot of gold. And then the best one was the Hakimi goal as he was breaking it down after his trademark orgasm on live air when he screams. He as he's breaking it down, he said, "Better balance than a one-legged man standing in a hammock."
I know. Which I was like, wait a minute. Wouldn't that be bad balance for that one-legged guy to be in the hammock? Maybe he's like a slackliner.
Yeah, if he's standing up.
Yeah, that one was legendary. The other announcer even repeated it later.
Yeah, he brought it up again. He's like a one-legged dude on a trampoline or something.
I know. Dude, Ray Hudson's the best. He's so awesome. I feel like he stumbled at the beginning of that. He says the balance, and then he kind of had to think about something to say. Yeah, and then he finally got it out, but it was totally worth it. That goal was really nice. Really nice. Really Hakimi looking like a center forward. Yeah, just
staying so calm. Yeah,
sending shadows the wrong way and then finishing with a little toe poke. It was clean. It was a nice goal.
It was really good.
So yeah,
but yeah, lots of other exciting games today. So the next one I wanted to talk with you about was the Lazio Atletico game, which I know you just saw the highlights of. So it's fresh in your mind.
Yes, you got to listen to me watch that live, and oh my god! So it seemed like a pretty balanced match. Atletico took the lead 1-0 in the first half. Second half is going. Both teams had some chances. Lazio was pushing for that equalizing goal, and then in the fourth minute of stoppage time, the last minute of stoppage time, they get a corner and bring the goalie all the way up. And the corner, actually, it wasn't the first kick.
It didn't work, yeah.
No, it got passed back out, and the goalie stayed up there. And I can't remember who it was, but the guy put in the cross.
Luis Alberto, yeah.
And
great ball.
The goalie was the only player that ran onto it. No one else had any. Maybe they were tired or what, but nobody else ran onto it.
That's what it was. Everyone's so exhausted, and he's just fresh legs out there.
But that goalie just ran it down perfectly with the perfect header for the tie. Oh my God, got him a point on the last kick of the game from the goalie. That was so cool. I never see goalies score on that. Never. So awesome. So they steal a point against Atletico.
No, it was just the ultimate. Like you said, it's so rare to see it. I think I've seen it one other time. I saw it in the Premier League once, I think. And every time, the two times I've seen it now, I love it because the goalies have no idea what to do with themselves.
Celebrating?
They just start running around, and they're like, I never, what do I do, They don't know where to run or who to go to.
That's so funny.
They just, he proceeded to run, to half field, when everyone usually runs, the corner flag.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was so funny. Because usually when, the other team scores a goal or your team scores a goal, the goalie doesn't run all the way up and celebrate the guy that scored. They usually stay in the goal.
Yeah, they'll do
totally unfamiliar territory. This guy, he's like, what do I do? Do I go back to the goal? That
was so awesome. And then the game was over, so it was just continue the celebration.
Yeah. Just great to watch.
Dude, awesome. And I love seeing Atletico suffer. They're one of those teams that it's all because of their coach, to be fair.
Seriously, it's their coach.
Yeah.
You love to see him suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dug his own grave there. The next game on the list, we had Milan hosting Newcastle at the San Siro. So Newcastle's debut into the Champions League.
I was looking forward to this one, man.
The Tonali Derby
Mm-hmm.
in Milan ends up 0-0 in the end of it. So did you watch highlights for this?
I did.
Okay.
I mean, Milan was firing
dominating
in that first half. Oh my God, they had so many shots on goal.
Crazy.
I mean, Nick Pope played well. I mean,
he had
that's
a couple
new.
saves that were like lucky though. You know, like
oh yeah,
he played really well and still had a couple lucky saves.
Yeah, and then I feel like Newcastle did have a couple of good chances though, especially in the second half. They could have stole that game, but the fact that AC Milan didn't score is incredible. But I think we're bearing the lead here for me. Pulisic didn't start.
Exactly. Drake. I almost turned it off when I saw the lineup.
When I saw that
this is bullshit.
That he wasn't starting, I immediately started rooting for Newcastle to win. Like before that, I was on the Milan side, and then I saw he was on the bench. I was like, I'm going Newcastle. Let's go Newcastle. Fuck it. And then he got subbed on, and then I was back on Milan. Like, okay, Pulisic, you need to win this match for the team. Like that's how we get back in the lineup here. I was shocked. He's been playing really well, and they put in Chukwuemeka.
I mean, I will say though that he looked like he was played really well. He created a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of those chances he was involved in. So they very well may have a situation where they have two good players in the same position. I still don't understand though how you've been playing Pulisic consistently, and then you leave him out in the champion. Whatever. Leave him out in the last Serie A game.
Well, the last Serie A game it was the derby, and I looked at that one, and maybe he played. I watched the highlights of that one, so maybe he didn't play well in that one. He wasn't really involved in the highlights too much, and
true.
He got subbed out basically in like the hour mark, I think. But it wasn't his fault they were playing bad. Their defense was getting thrashed. Their midfield was non-existent.
They got destroyed.
They got destroyed by Inter. And that Inter attack looks pretty scary.
Very
so,
good.
Yeah, I don't know what it means for Pulisic going forward. But I feel like you brought him in to play him. Like I don't know why. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like a catch-22 because you can make the argument you didn't play him, you didn't start him, and you tied this game. You didn't win. You can also make the argument you had 25 shots and like 10 on target without him, and you should have won. So I could see people taking it whatever way they want out of this, but we know the truth that he's a creator. He's going to help that team. He needs to be on the field.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
But a huge result for Newcastle to come into your first Champions League game at San Siro in Milan, all the pressure, all the people, all the spotlights, and to dig out a win or dig out a draw and potentially had a shot at winning. So great start for them in this competition.
Dude, huge. Like they weathered the storm and they got a point. They got to be feeling good going home. Their lineup was interesting too. I don't know if he was hurt, but they put in Longstaff instead of what's his face,
Joelinton.
Yeah. Who actually is he injured because he wasn't even on the subs?
He didn't play in the last game either. I think he's either hurt or something was going on with him.
But I was
playing in the Premier League. Yeah. I
was surprised they didn't start Almiron either.
I was reading so he one of many players that went on international break, and I was definitely reading something how Coach was talking about how some of the players came back just completely drained from the international break, the travel, all the games they had to play.
That makes sense.
And he's the talisman of his team, so there could have been something lingering from that the last couple weeks. But,
I didn't think about that.
I was surprised too to not see him out there. So it's all the players they have. It's like kind of a interesting lineup. choice. So
Yeah,
but they got a draw, so can't complain.
I mean that's the group of death. So as long as you don't get zeros, that's a good step in the next direction. So
Definitely.
PSG's got 3, Newcastle and Milan with 1, and then Dortmund right there. So still early days.
Yep.
Okay, any other matches you want to talk about? I didn't really watch any of
Yeah.
the others. I saw the results though.
Yeah, so I watched actually a lot of the Man City against Red Star, and they were tied 1-1 for a while into the second half. So that was kind of cool to see, giving them a fight. They ended up, taking the victory 3-1 kind of comfortably at the end. So yeah, more or less, Man City got back into their Man City form. Barcelona destroyed Antwerp 5-0. I didn't watch any of that one. Porto won 3-1 against Shakhtar. I assume that was pretty clinical on their part. I did watch the Leipzig highlights, and they had a struggle against Young Boys. It was a really tight game. It was just like the Man City game, kind of 1-1 into pretty deep into the second half, I believe. And they ended up winning 3-1, so it looks comfortable on paper. But Young Boys looked pretty good to me, which is not a team I would ever think to
Really?
say that about. I was like, they're stiff competition. So yeah, and I think they only scored their third goal like in injury time, so it was 1-1, 2-1 most of that game. And then the last game I didn't see at all was the Feyenoord, but they won 2-0 over Celtic.
Yeah, it's I feel like there's really no, at least in today's matches, maybe Red Star, but like pretty fair competition. I feel like
Yeah,
everyone's pretty qualified to be there.
it's great. Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Maybe Antwerp is the only one.
yeah, true, but I mean they're also playing one of the biggest clubs in the world. But it was
Yeah,
great. It felt
in
like a high
Spain.
level. Yeah, it felt like a high level though. All the different games, you could tell the players really care. It's so awesome that you get Premier League and Champions League and International and like all this stuff.
It's just
That
nice
kind
to
of
have
just like
Champions League back.
it just yeah, you like switch in between these different modes. It's really awesome. And there's a couple games to look forward to tomorrow, so it'll be more to watch. Bayern Man
That's
U.
the one. So Bayern hosting Man U. Other ones of note: Arsenal's hosting PSV. Uh, let's see what other ones it could be. Galatasaray. I want to watch them. Real Madrid's
Mm-hmm.
playing Union Berlin. That's going to be a tough one for Union Berlin.
Yeah.
Real
See Benfica
Sociedad and Inter.
Salzburg. Benfica Salzburg be an exciting game. So yeah, I think
Oh
today's slate
yeah,
was better, but there'll still be some fun ones to watch
yeah, definitely,
tomorrow.
definitely. All right.
All right.
You got a bunch of news. Yeah, I was not here for the news, so you got to fill me in.
Well, you want to hit the Premier League or get into news?
Oh, yeah. My bad. See, look, I'm
Okay.
already skipping ahead.
He's just raring to go,
Yeah,
folks.
yep.
But yeah, so it was a long 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
that we
two
did
weeks
our
ago.
2 weeks ago that we did our Week 5 preview of all these games before the international break or as it was starting. So we did our picks and everything, quite a while ago, but we got to catch up on the Premier League news, the games that went over the weekend. So I'll just quickly go through these. Maybe you've seen some of the highlights, maybe not.
I watched. I watched a few of these. I was here for
Okay,
this.
cool.
All right, I was here for
Yeah, so
Saturday's matches, but not Sunday.
Saturday. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so starting off, we had Liverpool at Wolves. Liverpool with the win 3-1 on the road. I think that's a game we picked.
Yeah.
We both picked a similar score there, I think. We had Fulham hosting Luton Town. They took the 1-0 victory, so Luton Town still with 0 points on the season.
I know the poor Luton Town dude. They're gonna be
5 games in.
uh, they're gonna be
It's gonna
close
be
to zero for a while. I feel like.
it's gonna be a rough ride for
Yeah.
them. And then we have the Tottenham hosting Sheffield game.
Tottenham just
And
keeps going.
this game was wild. So it was late in the second half that Sheffield gets a go-ahead goal to go up 1-0. And in the span of 2 minutes in injury time, the 98th, in the 100th minute, Tottenham scores 2 goals. The first one coming from Richarlison, who has been very public recently about how his mental health is off and he's been struggling and he's been getting support from his teammates. So the ultimate, come from behind goal by him, which must have felt fantastic. And then 2 minutes later, get the winning goal in the 10th minute of injury time from Kulusevski, before Sheffield got their red card and lost the game. Insane. Just like, this is the type of stuff that happens to a team that is at the absolute peak as like a cohesive unit, where the atmosphere and the culture is on point. Like, this is the stuff that happens with a team that just everything is coming together.
And
the right coach, the right mentality, the right players, all buying in. It's amazing.
And Harry Kane's not there.
And yeah, it's a fresh start for everybody,
it's
right?
Crazy. They are just on fire right now. Like you said, like everything is working their way. That coach is gold. Like every interview he does, it's just like, how do you not like this guy? Like,
I love it.
He's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. And if you can get Richarlison going, look out, because they've been playing so well and he's been doing nada. So yeah, did you see him? I actually saw like an article or something. It was him from the international break, and he was like distraught for missing a goal opportunity. Yeah, his confidence is just shot.
Very, very low. Yeah.
So this could help him maybe turn over a new leaf and get that confidence back, because we know he's qualified, man. He's good. Like that World Cup performance of his was spectacular.
Yeah.
So he can do it. He can do it.
He has the capability, man. It's so good. But yeah, just Tottenham just keeps rolling, and it's great to watch. The next game on the list, so we had.
Speaking of keep rolling,
forward to. Yeah. We had Man City at West Ham. West Ham takes the first half 1-0 lead on Man City.
Yep. I mean, they can do it, but Man City, man,
3 second half goals.
They just
come back.
They just have so much firepower the entire game. And it's like, when those guys get tired, they can bring in fresh leg that is just dangerous. Adding Doku to the mix is such a help for them, such a benefit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a different type of creator than they've really had. The sort of like pure athletic, like, they don't. He creates by the fear of his athleticism in a lot of ways, right? Which is different than like the skill creation that they have with a lot of their players, like De Bruyne or Silva. These guys have incredible skill, but it's not like their athleticism that scares you,
No,
but him, it's like
the fastest player on the team is Kyle Walker. Their offense is never really had explosive athletes. Like he's the antithesis of Jack Grealish. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Jack Grealish sprint by somebody, but he'll like just kind of tiptoe his way and then wait for him to dive in and then cut it back. And Mahrez wasn't explosively fast, like Bernardo Silva, all these guys, and then all of a sudden
they've always had quick players, not fast players.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So he definitely adds a different dimension that makes them super scary. And then anytime Haaland gets a sniff of goal, he finishes. It's like, oh, can you imagine if De Bruyne was actually healthy? This team would be insane.
It would be so good.
They're ridiculous.
But at the same time, I think for a team of West Ham's caliber, at least to start the game, I thought it was a great showing by them. Obviously, they took the lead, but just shows you how good Man City is, even without their best player. It's just relentless.
I don't think less of West Ham after this at all. They're the same or better. That's solidified that they are a real team. This start they've had is for real.
Dude, exactly. Of all the years, because I'm West Ham's kind of one of my teams that I always like point to. But of all the years where they've had sort of high expectations and all this potential and good players, this finally feels like the year where they're actually good. Like they should have been good all these other years, and they're like barely trying to not get relegated, and it's like they're actually finally living up to the potential that they have. They're not going to be, a top 5 team, but they should be in the top 10.
They could be a top 5 though. I think they're in 6th right now, but
yeah,
I didn't say should. I said they could. I think they could.
Yeah. No, they could fight for like a Europa.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like they did this year. They won the Europa Conference League, right? Like I feel like that's where they're at now.
Yeah. And they were so disappointing last year that you see this hot start from them and you're like, is this real? Or, but they've been putting together some really strong performances. So I have no doubts about them now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Next game, big implications out of this game. We had Brighton on the road at Old Trafford, Manchester United.
I want to take a victory lap on this one because
one victory.
I called this. I got this pick right. This was such an easy bet to win because the Manchester United faithful always boost them just a little bit higher, but they have been playing like dog shit, and Brighton has been the superior team by far, and yet they were still given longer odds to win that match on the road, and they just go in there and they're just like, we're better than you. You are not the Manchester United of yesteryear. Like, I don't know, man. We talked about the coaches, Pochettino or Ten Hag, who's under more pressure.
Yeah.
After this one, it's definitely Ten Hag. Wow. Like, they are in trouble. They are in trouble. Are they going to be the Chelsea of last year?
They're on track right now. I mean, they've had some injury issues, right, that have been going on. But it just doesn't
Mount?
Right.
Don't tell me Mount's changing the outcome of this match. We can talk about the defenders.
Højlund was hurt to start his transfer. Not that he's going to be the answer, but
yeah.
I mean, he finally just started.
He could be. But he's super young. He's super young.
Yeah, exactly.
No, their defense has definitely got a lot of injuries.
Situation, there's just there's definitely, I feel like, excuses you can point to.
Wait.
Not that they should be real.
There's the Sancho situation. There's also the Antony situation.
Oh fuck, forgot about that.
Yeah, and then there's
Greenwood situation.
The Greenwood is gone. And then you got. There are plenty of excuses. Plenty of okay, this team is not right now. There's holes in the defense. They didn't have to play Harry Kane, thankfully, so can't give them that excuse. But
Harry Maguire.
Thank you. Sorry.
I was like, that would be hilarious. If he had gone there and this is happening.
And then, I lost my train of thought. But basically, they're not a good team right now, and Brighton clearly are the better team at this point in the season.
Oh, for sure. And it all came true. So but great win by Brighton on the road. I think it was the first loss all Man U's had at Old Trafford. I think I heard something in 28 games.
That's
maybe
pretty incredible.
Something like that. Yeah. So well over that's got to be over a whole season. Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where they at worst they tied at home and they finally lost. So
that's almost
Brighton's
2 seasons.
It's great.
That's almost 2 full seasons. Huge win for Brighton. And hey, man, they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome.
Yeah. They're great. So next game on the list, we had Aston Villa hosting Crystal Palace. They win 3-1. Aston Villa looking pretty good, man. Once they get their rotations and formation figured out, they look dangerous, man.
They're
from so many different spots.
Yeah. No,
so many threats.
There's I feel like the top half of the league Like that group basically from like 5 to 10, I feel like could beat anybody. You know what I mean on their given day. And Aston Villa is one of them. Like if they can play with anyone. You know, like they're good. They're good, and they're dynamic up
Yeah,
top.
so this was a classic game where like they were the better team, dominating. I mean, they ended up the only reason they won is because they got a penalty in injury time. But it was like on the run of play, they deserved to win the game. You know, so whether or not you're like, oh, they got lucky.
Yeah.
I don't think it was luck. Like they played like the better team. So I think it was a fair result at the end.
Yeah.
Next up, this was a huge game for Newcastle. They've been in a dark slide. We just talked about their Champions League game, but they had lost 3 in a row in the Premier League after the amazing start they had. They had Brentford at home, and they squeezed out a 1-0 win, which was just direly needed
my
for
gosh.
them to right themselves.
That had to help them going into the Champions League today, just to get some
100%.
sort of confidence because they were reeling. And Brentford's no slouch. We've been talking about it. They're a good team. So 3 points against them, even at home, huge for them. Huge to stop that. So
yeah, it was a very even game, but to pull out a game, pull out a win when it's a game like that, it's got to inspire confidence.
Exactly. That's huge. That's huge for confidence. And then they got a point in Milan, so maybe that's 2 good showings.
Pour it up. I saw you pouring it up.
I just did.
Here's to you, Newcastle.
Cheers, Newcastle. Dude, I'm a big Newcastle fan this year. I really
love the fans. Love the fans.
I hope that they're able to keep their team at the level they're at. It wasn't good to see them drop. But that was the one place, because on our trip when we go to London, we're not going to go that far north, and they're playing in Newcastle.
No,
and that is definitely on the bucket list. I want to go see a game there. So someday,
that would be fun.
Next trip.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, next game on the list. This game also big implications. A lot of big results this weekend. So we had Chelsea on the road at Bournemouth. The ultimate Chelsea performance. Unbelievable domination of possession, creating chances, everyone on the ball, everyone in the attacking third, just pressure after pressure, can't score. Cannot find a way to score. Ends up tying the game 0-0 and practically almost lost the game. A couple chances that Bournemouth had near the end. It's just unreal what's going on with Chelsea. So many injuries. It's just they're still so good, and they just can't put it together.
I don't know what I can't point to a core reason. I think there's multiple reasons, but they should be better, man. They should be better. Nicholas Jackson, you got to be better.
Dude, yeah. Big disappointment so far.
And my boy Mudryk got the start, and he didn't score or get an assist. He only played 60 minutes, so he didn't get the full match yet. I said when he gets 90, he'll create a goal. But they need someone to finish. They need someone to finish, man.
Yeah. They definitely
need help. The Nkunku injury is just hurting them bad.
It really sucks, man.
That's a legitimate reason. For a team that's really stacked, like Man City, for a team like Chelsea where they don't have that depth, even though they've spent the same amount or more money. That's such a big injury for them that it's hard for them to recover from.
Yeah, so I actually had a sort of a trivia thing I was going to get into later and share with you. But I'm just going to do it now.
Yeah, do it.
Because we're talking about Chelsea. So, in regards to their injuries, I saw this article, and with the amount of injuries Chelsea has and the players that are injured, you could create an entire starting 11 worth $370 million of transfer fees that are all injured right now.
No way. That's crazy.
So listen to this team that's currently injured. You have Bettinelli in goal. You have Chalobah, Badiashile, Fofana, and Reece James in defense.
Yep.
At least two of those are probably starters. You have Caicedo and Lavia. Caicedo and Lavia at like defensive, center mid. Chukwuemeka, Madueke, and Nkunku, and then Broja up top, who's also super young and super good and injured. It's just like that is a team that like I swear to God that team could like win Europa League.
That team good. That's a good team.
And they're like, right? It's like, dude, like that team is all injured for them.
I mean, not having Reece James is their best player. Like when everyone's healthy, in my opinion, Reece James is their best player, and not having them hurts bad. Like, Chilwell's a nice player, but he's not the same. He's not even close.
No, not even.
And
yeah, it's tough. And Pochettino said something like, "I've never seen this ever in like my history of playing and coaching. So many injuries on one team of like the best players." He was just like. He was like, I'm not making excuses. He's just like, I've never seen this. Like,
it's crazy.
I've never like.
He's still got plenty of good players left. Like they should be doing better.
Does.
But
exactly.
But yeah, that's pretty insane.
Couple more games.
Crack and let's go.
All right. So we had Arsenal on the road at Everton. A game coming in that we thought would be a smooth cruising victory for Arsenal turns into a dogfight.
Yeah, it does.
They end up squeaking out the win with a late goal. I think it must have been, I don't know, second half of the second half, the last quarter of the game. At
69th minute. Nice.
There you go, 69.
A nice goal. Nice goal.
Good goal, dude.
Saka with the assist towards like the center of the 6-yard box, and Trossard just opens it up. Boom, right off the post. Great shot.
Perfect. Right off the post. Yeah. Really, really good goal. I was happy for him because I feel like he's been a little overshadowed at Arsenal and maybe hasn't had all the opportunities. So to see him, come through on the big stage was cool to see. But Arsenal, these are the types of games, if you want to be competing for the top, that you find a way to win. And they were doing it last year. Now they're doing it again this year. I mean, you got to be feeling good in those tough games that you still find a way to win. So I came out of this like feeling very positive about Arsenal. Even though it's like you're going on the road to Everton, you should beat them 4-0. That's not what happens in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Some of these teams on the road are just unbelievably tough to play against, and you just have to find a way to win. And whatever it takes, you do it, and that's the key. And they're still finding ways to do it this year. So,
did you
looking good?
Did you notice who did not start?
Oh yes, they benched Ramsdale. I forgot about that.
And
big news.
And.
Yeah, boy.
And Kai Havertz. They both didn't start. This is that time of the show.
Kai Havertz spray.
I already gave Mudryk some like support, and I'm now trashing Havertz. So that's a double drink for me. But before I drink, I just want to say that you can't tell me. I call him Fabio, but Vieira is a better player for it. Like he is way more positive. He makes so many more things happen, and he didn't score today. He assisted on a goal that got called back for offside. Like he's such a bigger threat. So I'll take my drink now. I said my piece.
Preach. No, I agree with you. I think there's a tendency with those types of players like Vieira. They're creative, they're fluid, they're attacking. They don't know how to defend. But they don't know how to stay in position.
You got Declan Rice right behind you. You don't need that.
Exactly. But I feel like there's just always going to be an inherent sort of aversion to, a team that wants to maintain structure to that type of player. But it's days like today that show
Yeah.
against the right type of team and formation, that player can thrive. I mean, he looked like the most creative player out there, more than Odegaard, who usually is that guy. It's just, to me, it kind of brought out like so much of the importance of the coach and choosing the strategy and the technique and the approach that you take into these games, because just putting the right player in the right spot can make such a difference against the style that you're going against. And this was a perfect example where Arteta was like, I'm going to make the right choice here, and he did. And they found a way to win in a really tough game.
Yeah. No, it was a great call. It was weird. It was weird to me that Ramsdale was benched to switch to the other one. Like, I don't.
No.
I don't have a good eye for goalies. I really don't. Admittedly, but I feel like
you hate goalies. Yeah, we've been through this.
I don't hate them. I just don't. I don't have a good eye for when one is good or better than another.
We talked about this. Yeah. No, I feel like I've gotten better at it, but I'm there with you.
But I feel like he wasn't doing poorly. Like,
so I will tell you this. So just a bit of insider information. So I am a goddamn YouTube junkie. I watch YouTube all day and fucking night. And I was watching Team England when they were on the international break. They post, clips of them practicing and the guys all together. And they had an entire video where it was the goalkeepers practicing. And it was Pickford, Ramsdale, and then Sam Johnson, who's the Crystal Palace goalie, because Pope, I think, was hurt or he wasn't there and something else. So Pope wasn't there. So it was those three. And it was all three of them doing the same drills over and over. This guy would do it, then the next guy. And in watching that, I actually came to the same conclusion that we see with Team England, that Pickford is a better goalie than Ramsdale. He's more consistent. Ramsdale would spill the ball at times. There are times when he would need to go with like a kick save and would like react too late. So there, like in watching that, I actually started to be like, damn, maybe Rams, because I was kind of you. I was like, oh, he's got to be good. He's playing for Arsenal. I was like, damn, he actually looks worse than Pickford. And so it made me be like, oh, he may not actually be, one of these best goalies when you see it up close. We see it from so far away and everything, but when you see the up close, the reaction times and how they do stuff, and it was clear that he was better than the other goalie, the Crystal Palace goalie. Ramsdale's definitely better. That guy looked even worse. But it was just really interesting, and I feel like I got more perspective on it. So I actually was not as surprised to see that, because I've always thought highly of Reyes, and he was on Brentford. He looked really good, and obviously he was good enough to make the Spanish national team, as second or third string, along with Sanchez. But it was interesting. It was cool to watch a video like that, and see the goalies working.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's the thing is you can't compare them on the field. I mean, with only the other guy on the other side, but to see the comparison again and again and again with two different guys, that's really cool.
It was actually really cool. And I was like, damn, so there is, for people that have that eye and know what the fuck they're talking about, you can tell a difference, So it was cool. I definitely recommend checking it out if you ever, end up with like 48 days of free time and you just get lost in a YouTube rabbit hole. Check out the English national team practice videos. I'm a little ashamed to say that I dived.
No. Send it my way. I'll watch it.
I do it for the love of the game, man.
Dude, I'll watch those videos. I find that shit interesting.
All right, one last game to get through from the weekend. So this was actually the Monday night game. We had Nottingham Forest hosting Burnley. So a game that we both thought would be really exciting, kind of, two exciting teams that are going to be fighting for points.
Yep.
I ended up picking this one exactly right. I picked a 1-1 draw. Ends up 1-1.
I thought Nottingham Forest would take it 2-1, just get it. But I bet you it could have gone either way,
Yeah, no, I would say, in looking at it, like, possession-wise, Burnley actually had more possession than Nottingham, but I think Nottingham had more chances. They had more shots. They seemed like the slightly better team, but once again, in the Premier League, being slightly better doesn't really matter. It matters. Matters. What balls fall the way you need them to fall on that day. So all in all, I think a fair draw in the end of it, them being slightly better. But these are still fun games to watch. Even these 1-1 draws, there's excitement, there's opportunities, there's cards. This was the other game that ended up with a red card at the end in injury time. So just a lot of fighting and clawing and tooth and nail to try and get a win.
Yeah.
But they both get a point.
So we've talked about this before. Both of us don't have a favorite Premier League team that we root for. But
true.
Every season, my teams that I root for change. And this year, Nottingham Forest is one of those teams. Newcastle is one of those teams. Liverpool is one of those teams. And obviously Brighton. Like, you can't not root for Brighton when you watch a Brighton match. They're so entertaining.
100%.
But Nottingham Forest, I feel like their matches are really fun to watch. I feel like they're a really exciting team that isn't perfect. So they can have a really crazy back and forth match with another team of equal or slightly lesser skill, or maybe slightly more skill. Like, they can really play up or down to their competition. They're super fun.
Exactly.
I like watching them.
Yeah, they're great. You're spot on. It's one of those games you feel like you're never going to be shy about turning it on because you're like, oh, this could be good.
Dude, I'm more excited to see a Nottingham Forest match than I am a Chelsea match. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
that's 100% true. That's great. Oh man, I love it. So so that was the games in the book. So before we move on to news and other things, I just wanted to check in on our bets for the weekend games. So we had gone into this week 5 with 6 bets that we'd put down on paper. Some of these we really liked. A couple of these were kind of long shot parlays and whatnot. The first bet on the board, we had the Aston Villa over. So that was who was that? Aston Villa against Crystal Palace, over 2.5.
Easy money.
Boom. Four goals. Easy money. We put 20 down on that at -112. So we take away $38 there, $18 of winnings. Then we took the Man U Brighton over 3 goals, -122. Boom, 4 goals. Take away $37 there on $20 down. We did take the Nottingham win and the Nottingham win, Man U win as
that hurts.
Long shots. Yeah, so we lost $40 there. Those are the 2 that we lost, but we won our remaining 2 bets. We took the Arsenal Liverpool parlay to win. Both win. That was at a +120. We got into plus odds with those 2 favorites. So we took home $44 there. And then we also had the Brighton Fulham parlay to win +415.
That's what I'm talking about.
Only threw $10 down on that, but that brought us in $52. So all in all, put down 110, take home 170. We're still positive on the year. We're still winning the bets. We're still winning more than 50% of our bets. We're winning back our money and some.
We might be at 60% of our bets.
We are. So I just updated our table. So I'll tell you our stats so far year to date. So we've put down 25 bets. We have won 60% of them. So 15 of the 25 bets we have won outright. We've wagered $500 and brought back 916. So we've almost doubled our money that we've bet so far this year.
If we had more money to gamble, we'd be way more rich.
Oh, for sure. So, dude, just crazy. Yeah, we've basically increased our money 85% on a 60% win rate with just very smart betting. We're not doing these crazy underdog, plus 2,000 odds. We got lucky. We're doing smart, educated bets every week.
Dude.
And we're on a winning streak, man.
We're on fire.
We're doing well.
Dude, we're like Brighton. We look for the weakness and we attack it.
And we exploit.
With precision. Look at that, dude.
That's it.
Love it.
Love it.
But you'll be in Vegas, so we might play some additional bets.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll talk Thursday. But
Thursday. I'll get some bets ready.
Thursday, we'll talk.
I might have to throw some NFL bets in there as well.
NFL, we might need to get some Champions League,
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
man.
I haven't even looked at the Champions League. We looked at the group lines, but um, I feel like the real fun is match to match stuff.
We need to do that. We do actually. Speaking of Champions League, we still need to do our pre Champions League picks for the groups, which we didn't do before game day one, but we could maybe do that
Oh,
Thursday.
dude, how did we forget that? Come
So,
on, that's bad.
well, we weren't here last week,
Yeah, that's probably why.
but yeah, we'll do it. We'll just miss game week one, but we'll act like it never happened.
There we go. Okay.
All right, so let's get into some news and transfers.
Yeah, I
I
missed
guess no
all the
transfers,
news.
just
I missed
news.
all the
Yeah.
news. So, take me through it.
No
Well, this
news.
is
No, I'm-
this one. Dude, a Newcastle fan got stabbed at the Milan match.
Dude, listen to this. Not at the match, but I think this was out like at the bars the night before or something. It wasn't in the stadium or something, but supposedly, like a gang of dudes came up to a Newcastle fan, like dad and son, but like the son's older, maybe in his 20s or something, and pulled out a machete and like attacked them and cut the Newcastle jerseys like off of them as like I don't know, like imagine like somebody scalping somebody. They like slice and then in doing so like slice the dudes, but like slice the jerseys off of them and like ran off with the jerseys in Milan. And everyone's like, what the hell is going on
Dude.
in Milan? Yeah.
It's fucking
Crazy
ridiculous.
stuff going down. I know.
That's so stupid, dude. Like, that's such I don't know. Like, Dodger fans are kind of like that, and I'm just like, dude, fuck the Dodgers, fuck those guys, like shitheads with nothing to live for with their fucking baseball team. Like, you're really gonna fucking kill somebody?
Dumb. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Dumb.
Like, yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. Crazy
it's a shame.
Stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of an abnormal story, so I had to throw it out there. So a couple other news points to get through.
Yeah.
So the rumor is there is an American firm interested in purchasing Everton. Supposedly the going rate right now is somewhere in the range of $500+ million to purchase. I think we talked about this before, and I think the number was somewhat in the similar range.
If I had 500 million and like only 500 million, I'd be like, I'm putting all of my money all in on this. This is going to make money. Like,
yep.
That's such a steal.
That's such a cheap price to get a Premier League team, man.
And
a Premier League team that's never been relegated.
A great Premier League team. Well, this year they need new owners bad. They need new owners before January.
Before January.
And then keep them up because their fan base, like that club, needs to stay up.
They got to stay up. Yep. So exciting news. Hopefully that comes and we see a little resurgence with Everton. So other news in the soccer world. I don't know if you saw this one, but there was a ban that was announced on Paul Pogba. So I guess after one of the recent Serie A games, he went through a doping test, and I guess he came back for excessive testosterone. I don't know what the length of the ban would be, or if there's appeals. I don't know any of the details really, besides the initial ban. But just another nail sort of in the coffin of this guy's career, man. He's been injured, unable to play. Who knows what's going on? If this is real or not, or a mistake. I don't know. But pretty sad news for somebody that was once so highly regarded.
Yeah, it's a bummer. He probably took something to try to help him get back from injury. But I didn't think they drug tested or cared, because the amount of money in the sport, and to not have any top players, like, when was the last time you heard a top player get doping tested?
Never.
Like, it just, like, I just figured they didn't test. They didn't care.
Well, no, I think what it is exactly like college football, like where these schools are probably all on shit. They know when the tests are going to do, or the team themselves like administers the test, whatever it is, right? It's everyone knows what's going on. So to me, what this means is that he must have accidentally done something, right? Because there's no way, like,
He
I feel
either
like the
he either
team wouldn't
was
allow
too
this to
dumb
happen
or
purposely.
forgot about it. Yeah.
Right, like he took something the team didn't know he took. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I feel like that's the only, because like you said, nobody ever gets caught for the shit, even though probably everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's all just an inside secret, and everyone gets away with it.
Is it
So to
even a
get caught,
secret? Is it even a secret? I
so
feel like
I mean,
uh,
nobody speaks it out loud,
yeah,
but
exactly. No one ever talks about it, which I find is
yeah,
interesting because in American sports, it's talked about a lot. I think as baseball, it's
yeah,
such a horrible effect on that sport. Um,
yeah.
other sports,
It
but
probably
like
matters more in a sport like that than any other, probably.
the
But
NBA, I guess maybe because like size doesn't matter as much in soccer. Maybe that's one of the
mhm.
reasons. But like NBA, dude, they don't care about that. They all those dudes, like you hear the players talk about it. Like it's usually the older players that talk about it, and they're like, there is an excessive amount of PEDs taken in basketball that they don't talk about or
Everything
want
taken,
to.
dude.
Yeah,
All types of shit.
dude,
Not
HGH.
just PEDs, but not even just PEDs, dude. Just like fucking all this other stuff, weed,
Oh, weed's
like
completely legal now. Yeah, they don't test for that. They
yeah,
don't care.
whatever, like
Which is good because that's not a performance enhancer.
narcotics, like they just don't do anything, dude.
Yeah,
They're just like,
yeah. The last one I can
uh,
remember was the center for the Suns. I forget from Arizona.
DeAndre.
Yeah, he got popped like his rookie season,
Mm,
and he got a 25 game suspension. And I was like,
okay.
oh wow,
It's like yeah, he
he's a
was
rookie.
dumb
He
about it.
didn't figure it out
Yeah,
yet. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so some other news around the soccer world: Kyle Walker, and Paulinho both re-signed new contracts with their respective teams.
What?
So Kyle
Paulinia?
Walker signed. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I would not be shocked if he's gone, in the next transfer window. But I don't know when his contract expired, but it probably was going to expire,
Yeah.
very soon. So they at least locked him up, and then they can work on trading him probably in the next couple transfer windows. Kyle Walker signed through 2026, so 3 more years with Kyle Walker, which I thought was pretty interesting. I thought he would have been.
He's
They would
getting.
only sign a guy like that, like 1 or 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, because he's at the tail. He's over the hill as far as like the peak of his career. So,
yeah, for sure.
but he's
Yeah,
still so fast.
he's still so quick and he's so experienced,
He's
and
probably on PEDs.
probably always has been. A couple other things. So we had Julian Nagelsmann is currently the front runner to take the new Germany coaching spot position. Supposedly, the only holdup is the salary. So I guess that the team came and said, we'll pay you X amount. He's like, dude, Bayern was paying me like twice that.
For
Like,
real.
come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so supposedly that's the only holdup, but he's very likely the next guy in line once they get things sorted out, which I think is a smart move for the team.
All right, here's my
It's
question
been
to you. Would you
okay.
rather be a club coach or an international coach?
Um, Damn it, you could take that question so many directions. So from a job security perspective, I would rather be the international coach. Because there's less games. Like, how often do teams change international coaches? Not nearly as much. It's like
Not enough in the U.S.
you probably get a whole sort of like World Cup qualifying cycle, right? At least to like show what you can do before you get fired. We talked about it before. Some of these club coaches, man, you're gone in like half a season if you don't perform. You're gone literally in like 4 months, 3 months, right? If you don't perform. So from a job security perspective, I would prefer that. Also, just the like if you got to be the coach of your own nation, that's got to feel so amazing too. So
Yeah.
in general, I would feel like that, but I also feel like there's probably less money in it, as we're seeing right now with Nagelsmann and leaving Bayern. So it is an interesting discussion to have, but I
What?
would lean international.
Okay. So that's your pick, international?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was your own country,
Yeah.
international. If it
Yeah.
was not your own country, club by a mile.
Club.
By a
Okay. Yeah.
by a
I was thinking
mile.
my own. I was thinking my own country. Yeah.
These guys that go and coach other countries, no fucking way would I do that. Like the amount of shit that you have to take to be an international coach is absurd. And you got to deal with really prideful, an entire country like
Yeah.
critiquing
You're not
you.
dealing with one. You're not dealing with one city.
Yeah.
Of like, 200,000 fans that are mad at you. You're dealing with like 25 million fans.
An entire country that is critiquing you. And it's worth it if it was your own country because you would feel like them. But in another country, oh man, it would be so much harder. I would much rather be a club coach because even if you get fired in 4 months or whatever, you still sign that contract and you'll get that money no matter what. So, club all the way.
All right. Speaking of contracts, the last bit of news I wanted to share with you. So the latest news out of Inter in Milan is Lautaro, who I believe his contract is expiring maybe at the end of this year, says he's more than open to extending this contract. He's very happy at Inter. So if you're an Inter fan out there,
I love that.
Fantastic news to hear.
Dude, if you're a Lautaro fan, that's good news. Like,
yeah,
they're doing really well. He's doing well there. Like, he's a huge part of their success. Like, the fans probably adore him. Like, why wouldn't? It makes me happy that he doesn't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah, no, spot on. It's great.
Like,
fantastic. All right, so then actually, we already went through the Chelsea side. So the one last bit of news I had for you on the injury side, so injury updates. Over the weekend, I didn't see this in the highlights or anything, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka,
another
serious
Man United injury.
Pull. Minimum of 2 months out due to his hamstring injury. So another blow to Man U, which is just going to compound things further. So, but that's it for injury updates. Fortunately, only one to speak of.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts. Because their defense is already devastated, as we were talking about. All right, well, you have some trivia questions prepared. You are prepared on this, so I'm driving. I'm riding in the back seat. Hit me with the questions. I'll drink when I get them wrong, and I'll try to make it so that you drink when I get these right.
All right, I will do that. I am going to try to find these questions that I.
Oh come on, dude! I gave you like a 60-second.
Found it. I found it.
There you go. Okay.
Jesus. All right. Yeah. So a couple questions here revolving around the Champions League.
Let's go.
Let me sip my beer real quick. I'll make you wait just 2 more seconds.
I'm ready.
All right. This is a fill-in-the-blank question for you. This is the first Champions League campaign not featuring either Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo since blank.
2016?
Wrong.
Or, sorry, 2006. Bad math.
Wrong.
Damn. 2007?
Wrong. One more guess.
2008.
2002.
No! I was going the wrong way.
02-03. Ronaldo's first Champions League season. He was on Sporting, I believe, and they made the Champions League.
20 years ago?
20 years that either Ronaldo or Messi was in the Champions League.
That's
until this year.
See, I was
Isn't that
thinking,
wild to think about?
Yeah,
you were thinking Ronaldo on Man U, but he actually made the Champions League.
Yes, I was.
Before that.
You're right. I was. Mm-hmm. Damn, that's crazy. All right, I'm drinking for that.
All right. Next
20
question. Also
years.
champions.
Oh my
20 years,
God,
man.
dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm gonna drink to that. That's
That's
just
crazy.
unbelievable.
That is crazy.
Those two guys, man, just
I actually just finished my drink. I need more.
unreal, especially in the modern game, man. Like that's type of shit that would happen in like the 50s or something or 60s, but
Nah, what are you
in
talking
this day and
about?
age,
The modern game that they play for, they'll play till they're fucking 50. I feel like they're just
yeah,
gonna.
but the level is so much more even now. Like back then, it was like if you were like throw fucking Messi back into 1960, he's gonna score 1,000 goals and like just demolish everybody. Like it's the level is just so much higher now. To stay at the highest level takes so much more that
Fair
I
enough.
think it's incredible.
Yeah,
I think it's a really incredible achievement.
it is.
All right, so I have here a list of teams that have made it to the Champions League in the 21st century.
Okay.
So if you count the way the seasons work, basically there's been, including this season, there's been 24 Champions League seasons because this will be 23-24 right this year.
Right.
So basically going back the last 24 seasons, there is one team that has qualified every single season in the 21st century for the Champions League. Only one team. Can you name that team?
I can't believe there's only one. I would have guessed like 5. I feel like it has to be PSG.
They're not even in the top 10.
What? Real Madrid then.
It is Real Madrid.
Okay.
Take a drink. They're 24 for 24.
That's crazy. I can't believe PSG didn't make it one year. I just feel like their league is so soft.
There are 3 more teams that have also made it at least 20 or more times. So out of the 24 years, at least 20 or more. There's 3 more. I'm wondering if you can name any of them.
I'm going to go Bayern.
They are number 2. They've made it 23 out of 24. They missed 1 year.
And then Barcelona.
Spot on. Number 3, 22 out of 24.
Yeah, I knew those were the teams, but I thought PSG was in there as well. I'm so actually surprised that they're not. Maybe I'm not realizing in the early 2000s maybe they weren't as good.
I think they had some some struggles. Yeah, they were purchased by the Qatari group or whatever.
Must have been later
in the early 2010s or something.
Yeah, there you go.
So that 4th place team is actually Porto, 20 out of 24. They've made it, obviously winning the Portuguese league. And then number 5 is Juventus, tied with Man U. They've each made 19 out of 24. Then you have Chelsea and Arsenal and Shakhtar at 18. And Olympiacos.
Yeah, Shakhtar's, they're a staple, man.
They're just always there, man. Always. So yeah, I thought that was a cool, interesting list.
That's cool.
All right. So my next stat for you. This isn't really a question. Yeah, this would be a tough question, but just a stat that I thought to you. So during the international break, one of the games that I watched was France against Germany, and that was when Germany got rid of their coach. And they came back and won the game. But during that game, it actually was the 123rd cap for Griezmann in that game. But also, even more impressive during that game was his 80th consecutive game played for the national team, which is twice as much as the next closest French player. So this goes all the way back to June 2017. Every official match that the French team has played, whether it's a friendly or it's a actual competitive match.
Oh, even the friendlies?
I believe so. Yeah, because that was a friendly that he played. That Germany-France game was actually a friendly.
So he's never missed one.
He's never, whether it's injury or not being selected, he has been in every match.
Wow.
The last 80 matches his team has played going back 6 years.
That's a cool streak.
He has been in every game. Unbelievable streak. That's crazy. It's double the next closest person.
Yeah, I bet that's really cool.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's you never hear about that. There's always players that take games off or no, I'm not going to go travel with the team for that stupid friendly, or whatever. And he's just like, no, if my country wants me, I'm going to be there every time.
I wonder what the record is.
Oh, all for any country, you're saying?
Yeah, with the
Yeah, I
consecutive
mean, I'm sure there's
streaks.
countries where the guys played, fucking 200 games, because they're like a small country and he's the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
But for a big country and a big team where there's a lot of competition to do that and to not lose your spot,
yeah.
pretty
That's
pretty
pretty.
cool.
That is cool.
All right, next trivia question I had for you. I have a list here of the most valuable players that have never been given an international cap yet. So this either means they're probably young or they play for a country that has a ton of really good players, right? So like they haven't been able to get a spot,
Wait, so the most
So
valuable you said, or
in terms of like the market value.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
exactly.
Oh man, this
And
is a tough question.
so the guy that tops the list, so this is kind of around the world, but the guy that tops the list, and actually the top two guys are both in the Premier League, play for Premier League teams.
Yeah, it's got to be someone that's young, like you said, that just hasn't had a shot yet. So
Exactly.
they've
So
never
so
been
one
called
guy
up, or they've never like started
that to get a cap, I believe, is an appearance. So
appearance.
I believe they've never actually. I believe that means they may have been on the team, but they never actually played. I
Oh man,
believe.
this is such a tough question. I wish you would have prepped me for this one. Damn, this is tough. I don't want to spend too much time. The first thought
I
that comes
know.
to mind, so I'll miss it probably,
It
is
doesn't mean they
is
might have played for their
is
like under 21 team, but they haven't played for the national team.
yeah. My first guess was the first thing that popped in my head was Eze, but
No, he has played. He played in the
he
last
has played.
international break.
Okay,
Yeah. No, he was on the team the last international break and he played. Yeah. And that wasn't the first time. He played last year too.
he did play last year. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Believe me, I watched all the English national team videos.
you saw practice, yeah.
I saw him play.
Oh man. Okay.
So I'll tell you. So these top two guys that are
Wait,
in the
I got
Premier
a drink
League.
for that.
These top two guys that are in the Premier League. One is English.
Okay. Yeah, it's got to be
The
a
other
deep
guy,
team. It's got to be like
the other
England.
guy
I'm
is
thinking
Dutch.
France. Oh, Dutch.
The other guy is Dutch.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily realize this guy was Dutch because his name to me doesn't sound the most Dutch.
Doesn't have Van in the name.
Yeah, no. But he's Dutch.
He's Dutch, huh? Well, shit. I don't know. I don't even know that. I'm trying to think of the English guy.
So the English
Dude,
guy
is it
like
my
a
man?
younger guy.
Is it? Oh, it's a young. Yeah, I guess that's right. Um, Palmer?
No, he still plays on the under 21s. He's probably. Let me check. He's probably on the list. Oh, you know what? I think he actually did come up and play for the national team. This most recent break, he was back down on the under 21s.
Oh, what?
But he's not on the list, and I think it's because at one point he did actually play for the top team,
shit.
Okay,
who is it?
So
then?
he's not on the list. It is Sven Botman.
Oh,
Dutch.
okay.
I didn't realize he was
Oh,
Dutch.
I actually knew that, but I didn't think of him.
He's worth $45 million on the transfer market. Number 2 is Ramsey on Aston Villa, and he's worth $42 million.
What? Damn, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah,
a couple other people you probably know. Morgan Gibbs White is number 5 on the list at $40 million. He played a lot for the under 21 and teams, but never on the top team. Olise still hasn't played for the French team.
I was thinking France. Yeah, I didn't know if Olise had played or not.
He's number 6 at $38 million.
God, I want him to get healthy so badly.
What's his stupid name? Gordon on Newcastle. What's his first name?
Anthony
Gordon, yeah. So he's number 7. He hasn't played yet. Same with Joe Willock, hasn't played. And then Levy Colwill for England as well, who's on Chelsea and is a big prospect.
I thought about Ward Prowse, but
he has played. He has
gone up. Okay. Played. What about Jared Bowen?
But he didn't get called up this time. Yeah, last year they both played.
Okay.
I watched. Don't worry. I got you. All right. A couple other things I wanted to go through. So this last one about the Premier League. I know there's a lot of stats and trivia here, but there was 2 weeks we didn't talk, man.
Dude, yeah, no, hit me with it. I haven't been up on any of this. This is nice. I've been on a mountain.
So I found a survey that The Athletic did where they actually interviewed legitimate Premier League agents, so like agents for players. So they have this like pool of agents, right, that represent Premier League players, and they had them vote on what they thought were the worst signings of the summer window for the Premier League. Right. So obviously some of the votes may be a little biased, but you're getting the whole picture, all the different agents, right? So a lot of them probably are totally neutral, some maybe not, but whatever, right? But anyway, it's a different perspective to look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious if you can guess what the worst voted trade was of the window, and I will give you the contenders.
Oh, I know
contenders
the contenders. Hit me with them.
Mason Mount, Moises Caicedo, Rasmus Højlund, Cole Palmer, Kai Havertz, Wataru Endo. So which of those do you think was voted the worst deal of the window? And it's close at the top.
When they say worst deal, if it's coming from an agent, does that mean it's the worst deal for the player or worst deal for the team?
No, it's I believe it's for the team, but you have to keep in mind it isn't just like you have to take the money part of it into account, probably, right?
Exactly. So if it's like okay, they overpaid for him, or the player
for this player.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is like the player got more than he should have, so that's a good one for him, or we're going from the team perspective.
Team perspective.
I don't know how it's not Mason Mount.
He's third.
Okay. He's my number one. It's just too much money for him. Not that he's terrible. He's just a complete overpay.
Like you hate Kai Havertz more than him, but it was so much money to pay for Mason Mount.
Exactly. But Kai Havertz is my number two. You're just paying way too much for an average player.
Okay, and who do you think is number three?
Oh, so he is number two?
Well, no, I'll tell you the order at the end.
Oh, got you.
You've got two of the top three right now.
Okay, so
the remaining options are Caicedo, Højlund, Koulibaly, Palmer or Endo.
Caicedo's just such a gross overpay, but that doesn't mean he's not good. Like, I think he's good. But it's just so much of an overpay. So that would be the other pick, yeah.
All right, so you got the top three. It is actually Havertz that was voted the worst signing.
Nice.
At number one, Caicedo right behind him. So basically those two are neck and neck. Okay. And the Caicedo one, like you said, comes down to the financial side, right? So much money to pay for somebody that hasn't performed like the best player in his position. You pay that much money, you got to be by far the best player in your position, and he hasn't shown that. Havertz, we know the story, and then Mason Mount third. So those are really the three. Yeah. But it gave a little bit of reassurance that we kind of know what we're talking about a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, I think we do. I mean, we're just a couple of drunk idiots, but we know what we're doing.
Yeah,
we know good soccer when we see it.
We watch enough to do that. All right. So the last bit of trivia I have for you. After our I forget if that was the last episode or not, but you hit me with some surprise. It was a Tony Gwynn quote that you hit me with.
Yes.
So I came across a Tony Gwynn stat, or Tony Gwynn related stat. So I just wanted to share this with you in the stat section because I know this will give you a smile. So this year, the NL strikeout leader, Kyle Schwarber, has 160 strikeouts. The AL strikeout leader, Suarez, has 162 strikeouts. So basically, and both those guys are like starters. They're like good players, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
In for these teams, 160 strikeouts this year. The times Tony Gwynn struck out during the entire decade of the 90s, 188 across 10 seasons.
That's so crazy,
he
dude.
These guys for an entire season.
Insane. He was such a good hitter. He was such a good hitter.
This is unreal.
Yeah. R.I.P.
So good.
Dude, we love you, Tony Gwynn.
I know.
I got my Padres jersey or sweatshirt on right now. Look at that.
Let's go. I like it.
I know he's a legend.
All right. Do you have any trivia? Nothing? No stats?
I'm sorry, I got nothing for you. I'm still like recovering, getting back into the day-to-day life.
Yeah, we've already spent enough time talking, but I just had a couple quotes I'll go out with. I just wanted to share with you. I feel like we always got to have at least one quote when we do these, so we'll make that a routine. But we talked about it before. I think we talked about it. Maybe I talked to myself in my head about it. I'm not sure, but just how when we went into the international break, how like some of the best players that have been playing to start the season aren't getting selected. Particularly, we're talking about England, where you're taking some of these guys that Calvin Phillips that isn't playing right or whatever. Right? We talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually found a quote from Rio Ferdinand, who's obviously a legendary player and somebody that you should listen to when he has opinions, right? And so he was actually asked about, and I think we specifically talked about this, the James Ward-Prowse snub for this last international window, who's been one of the best players to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
This is him, quote, "I'd retire. If I'm people like Ward-Prowse, I'd just retire. I'd say, listen, don't pick me no more. There's no point. It's disrespectful what you're doing. It is to the people like him, especially Ward-Prowse, who's been putting up numbers for his team on a regular basis. What more does a man have to do to get a sniff? I've never known a manager to pick players that are consistently not playing.
Yeah,
I get it if a player hasn't played for 5, 6, or 10 games, but Phillips and Maguire don't kick a ball. They don't play. They do warm-ups, and they're getting in England squads. It amazes me."
Dude. Good.
Preach.
I'm glad he said that. Like,
preach.
What? It's such bullshit.
It's such bullshit.
Like, aren't you trying to win? Like, that's what it comes down to. It's not like the good old boys like keeping in your
making
clique.
Sure this guy's still happy.
No,
that's not what it's about. It's about from the best team out there.
Exactly. Like that's what the U.S. has a problem with too, keeping the same coaching ring, and then getting like, dude, if Reyna does not start, I'm gonna lose my shit. They still haven't made up. It's like, you're the fucking coach. Like, suck it up.
It's on you, not the player. Yeah.
He is talented enough to be on the starting lineup for our team. You need to figure this out to put the best team on the field. Like, fuck, Berhalter's such a shitty coach if he doesn't figure this shit out. That's what coaching is. Yeah. That's the point of being a coach.
It's bullshit. I can't stand it, man.
Yeah. All right, I got. Oh, you have another quote?
Yeah, I'll hit you with a quick one. I'm just going out. Yeah, that's what I saw today. But I think it was after the Champions League game today, they were like interviewing Pep, and they were like, "Oh, what do you think about next?" And I think they're referring to the Champions League. And what he said was, "Next up, we have Nottingham Forest, the 2-time UEFA Champions League winners. They have won one more than we have." In terms of talking about the Premier League game this weekend, and so just like dug this like little history nugget out to the reporter, and it's basically like, I care about the next game and not whatever you're talking about. It's basically like the 2-time Champions League winners, they have won one more than us. That's funny. Dude, I was like, dude, Pep always with the surprise comment.
Pep, dude. All right, I don't have I got a quote for you. It'll be like Bill Simmons' Parent Corner. Okay. So we're on our vacation, and my kid, he's 2, so he can't really speak in full sentences. He says like two words at a time, 3 words at a time. And we're in the RV, and he's just kind of like doing his thing, like not paying attention, like playing with his toys, and Nikki goes, "Hey, you want some mac and cheese?" And she had it on a fork, and he turned around and he goes, "Oh, there you go," and just like took a bite. He's like, "Oh, there you go," and just munched it, dude. Like, I was fucking dying.
Damn, dude, he's got some wit to it. He's got some witty wit.
I'm just like, this is what I was waiting for. I need you to start talking more so that I can just laugh at the funny shit that you say, because it's so funny, dude.
That's great.
Yeah, there's my quote.
I love it. That's a good way to go out, man.
Yeah. Next week.
All right, well,
this week we got one more. So we got Champions League Day 2 tomorrow. We'll cover that on Thursday, and then we'll also put in our bets for the weekend. And a little bonus multi-sport bets because we're going to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there in
multiple
spirit.
Sections.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, be ready. It'll be fun.
I'll be there. Cheers,
All right,
dude.
I'll see you 2 days. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.